Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Dyker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Riker. Brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem, in La Crosse on 3rd Street downtown and George and Gillette Street. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning.
Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV, along with Paul the Penguin Riker, Billy Doc Niles, and Radio Man Dan Dyker, ready to bring you another loaded program. Today we have highlights from the Crosse Speedway, from the Tomah Sparta Speedway, and then we're going to load you down with a whole bunch of video towards the end of the program. Sponsors include
Big Boar Barbecue, our title sponsor, once again voted #1 in the county and one of the best caterers. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. If you haven't got your air conditioner checked out by now, you better get it done soon. Fansarena.com, Epic Vinyl and Media, and Back 40 Wraps. Thank you all for joining us this year and helping make this show possible.
All right, to the Crosse Speedway we go as we bring you the late model last two. It was, of course, well, Nick Panitsky, Steve Carlson again, as we show you this right here. The halfway mark, they pretty much went 1 and 2 past Jason Stark, nice looking late model, and Jeremy Wagner. Right towards the end of it right there, Panitsky had about a 1 and 2 car length over Steve Carlson in the last 2 laps, and took this one down to win number 5. Carlson has 3 on the year, and I like his quote at the end of the race. Panitsky said, "We were trying to do a little something different tonight. That's why it took me a little bit longer to get to the front."
Yeah, you and I were commenting on this during this feature that I said, wow, they're just not getting through the pack as quick as they normally do. And I thought for sure they weren't going to get any higher than 3rd, maybe 4th. But then all of a sudden it's like somebody kicked in the afterburners and boom, there they both went right to the top. So it was pretty impressive to watch them slice through the field the way they did.
Panitsky a 6-point lead over Steve Carlson in the late models. Sportsmen were up.
Jeff Thompson got out to a huge lead. I mean, it looked like there was no looking back for him, but an accident happened with 3 laps to go. Pretty bad accident here with Brian Hesselberg and Jesse Green. Brian, we're all thinking of you. Hope you're getting better soon. And bunched the field back up. I talked with Thompson before the green flag dropped again. He says, this thing's a rocket. I'm going to win. He wasn't kidding. He pulls away to a big lead. Ends up beating out Weber and Lethe for the win.
All right, let's go to the action track quarter mile. Paul Penguin.
Yes, hobby stock feature was good for a while. Caleb Hardy was tracking down Jason Bolster, got by him with 4 laps to go, and claimed the victory.
All right, to Billy Doc Niles, the street stocks back out at the quarter mile.
Jake Chalmers in his first year in the street stocks, impressive season, using the Jimmy Bjorkman line of all things to get towards the front. Uses the outside to get around Jonathan Burback just past halfway. Doesn't look back, captures his 3rd feature win of the season in the street stocks.
Make sure the last 2 of the Upper Midwest Vintage Racing Series, 17 strong again at the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. And it was neat to see Dan Linehan out in Todd Korish's old number 32, which he ran as a sportsman car a couple of years ago. Todd Korish, meanwhile,
that dude is not old enough for a throwback car yet.
Todd Korish brought out the 99 Coors Light triple throwback that he had at Oktoberfest last year, and he took that right past Larry Bolster's strong 11 machine to go out and pick up his first feature win since 2011. Of course, the Upper Midwest Vintage Racing Series will be back at La Crosse during Oktoberfest. Double spin to win, Paul.
Yes, and this has become a pretty good race with those tires on the back straight and the front straight. And Jonathan Burback had one heck of a race. Was the best to do the job going around those tires and ended up claiming the victory.
So there's your race video recap from the La Crosse Speedway. Gentlemen, as we look at the points right now, Nick Panitsky gained 2 on Steve Carlson from last week. Let's see. Caleb Hardy gained 1 on Jason Bolster, and pretty much everybody else was the status quo, except for the street stocks. Yeah,
you look at the late model points. Once again, it's a 2-man race with Panitsky and Carlson. Lethe only 40 points ahead of a pack of drivers in the sportsman class. 4 points separate 2nd through 5th in that sportsman class, which is pretty impressive. Hardy with that comfortable 31-point lead in the hobby stocks. 14-point lead for Bornitz in the Hornets, and Chris Berg, he's not going to let that lie down. And then you got Bjorkman and Chalmers are only 22 back, and then of course the street stocks. Chris Larson fighting with Chalmers. Larson didn't quite catch up to Chalmers last week. Only 5 points between them two. That's going to be a fun battle down to the end. And the minivans, of course, Rob Stanfield, pretty much the man to beat right there with a 36-point lead.
Leading Rookie of the Year, Steve Bachman, after an impressive feature last weekend. Of course, Twin 20s coming up this weekend, so we can kind of repeat that top 6, I think, that he had. Henry Bayan has a stranglehold over the Sportsman, and for the hobby stocks, it's Alex Rude, still about a 96-point lead over Joel Geisser. So again, interesting points battles. The Hornet not as close as it's been with 12 drivers this late in the season. Now you're looking at maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's going to be still competitive right down to the end of the season.
So this week it is the annual fair time. Street drags are on Friday night at Crosse Speedway. Saturday night we're going to have twin 20-lap features for the NASCAR late models. Joining them will be the Sportsman, Hobby Stocks, and Hornets. Also, pre-race kids rides, which is always kind of cool for the youngins. When we come back, we're going to talk Tomah Sparta Speedway. They lit it up last Friday. That's next on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Spring has sprung, the grass is riz, and Big Boar Food Truck is back in biz. Yes, the Northside Food Truck at George and Gillette Street is back in business. Stop by for lunch or dinner, enjoy our pulled pork, chopped brisket, fresh cut fries, sweet potato fries, cheese curds, and our own baked beans and coleslaw. Watch for ribs and chicken on select days. Big Boar is back at George and Gillette, and still a delicious mouthful.
Yeah!
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter.
Hey, Dave.
Like giving Jeff his ladder back before he takes it back. Or where to put the food when you both get the groceries. Or the doggy door that just became a raccoony door. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your 2018 American Standard Building a Higher Standard Award winner. Call Carey today for your free estimate.
Welcome back, race fans. Seven Wars Racing, KQEG TV, along with Bill and Paul, our producer Jesse, who's on that side. I'm Radio Man Dan Dyker. We got lacrosse in there, and of course, lacrosse this weekend going to be very hot and steamy. Tomah Sparta Speedway Friday night, the Tim Meyer Memorial Shootout was fantastic, but we do want to show you what happened last week. It was a historic night race for the Tomah Sparta Speedway last week, as the legends were there, believe it or not, for the first time ever.
That was pretty cool to see the legends in action. They put on one whale of a show.
It just surprises me, Billy Doc, that those cars which run Elko, they run the Dells, they run Hawkeye Downs, don't run it. I mean, Tomah's a perfect track for them.
Tomah's definitely a perfect track for him, and to see him out on that little track, and we've seen him on third miles and quarter miles before, but never a tight quarter mile like this. So it was
third mile.
Yeah, third mile. Okay.
Yeah.
It used to be a quarter mile till they. Anyhow, it was pretty impressive to see him on this tight bull ring.
Well, it was Ethan Ross came charging to the front, started about mid-pack through this one right here as we show you the last 2 laps of this, and did a nice job. Tim Brockhouse, the young man, well, that was Arden Brockhouse was the young man. Tim ran second. He's the one to look up. He's the one that can get you a Legends car, he can get you a Bandolero car, get you in all those divisions. Did a nice job of trying to get up to Ross, but the young man that they nicknamed the Rocket raced away from him and made history. He picked up the first ever feature win of the Legends at the Tomah Sparta Speedway. Talking about the Bandoleros, they were in fine fashion.
And we'll talk about Ayrton Brockhouse. He got the lead a couple laps in and looked like he was going to pull away, but fast qualifier Alex Hartwig came by and got the lead about halfway through the feature, and he ended up claiming the win. I think he won last year at Tomah, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It was almost a year to the date that he came out. Alex Hartwig, fast time qualifier, and came out and won the feature. He did that last year as well. I love the name. I did a pre-race interview with one of these young men, Billy Doc Niles. What a typical racing name, Robbie Rux.
That just sounds like somebody who needs to be in NASCAR.
No, I like that. No, Robbie Rux. I thought that was pretty cool. Sportsman came out, and man, did they have a race right there.
Oh, yeah. Well, you threw me off because I'm supposed to be talking about the modifieds.
Oh, yeah, I was going to do the Sportsman. I want to talk about Jake Schiller and David Borntrager. You know, there was a time the points, between Midland Borntrager and Lonniewood Sr. to start the night. David didn't show up. Lonniewood Sr. did, but he still finds himself second in points. It was kind of interesting how that ended up there. This was a good nose-to-tail race, and you knew with about 6 laps to go as you watched the last two. They were side by side. Neither of these drivers were going to budge, and I think it was 3 inches is what Schiller ran his sportsman car in front of Borntrager for the win. Were one of the closest wins, or one of the closest races we've had at the line on the feature this year.
Oh yes, remember Darlington 2003 in the Cup Series? That was that finish. That was awesome.
It was. That was simply outstanding. I tell you what, that was, even the heat races were like that as well. We had a great race out there when he came to the Hornets, Paul Penguin.
Yes, a great race. Alex DeVito unfortunately had a little issue when his hood flew up a couple laps in. James Rittenhouse got the lead, but Ben Thurk was in action, and he almost tried to pull something off there on the Rittenhouse in the closing laps, but James held on to claim the victory.
And, of course, Alex DeVito was driving Antonio DeVito's car. That's his brother. Found out Alex has his championship car from last year back in his driveway. So he's going to be tinkering on that thing and getting it back out there. Billy Doc Niles, it was a great night for the TACU six-shooters.
Yeah, Tim Murphy would jump out to a lead, but that wouldn't last long as our guy, Dan Fry, would run him down. He would get past him about lap 7, but it wouldn't be easy for him as Matt Moore would also break through. Moore would do his best to try and chase down Fry and make the pass. Not going to happen. Fry ends up ringing the bell in the victory lane.
That was Fry's win number 3 of the year. Matt Moore, as a matter of fact, started on the inside of row number 2, elected to start in the back, and then almost came out and won this thing. So, mini stocks, it was Paul Finch versus Tim Finstad. Tim Finstad comes out on top, and anytime you see the number 33 mini stock at your local racetrack, Finstad is going to be one that's going to be right there automatically. When we come back, we've got a ton of interviews that these two gentlemen did at the Crosse Speedway's fan photo. That's next on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Are you ready for the Ultimate Platter Challenge? Jerry here at Big Boar Barbecue. Our Ultimate Platter is loaded with pork, brisket, chicken, ribs, 3 sides, and 4 slices of bread. If you can eat it all, it's yours free. I'll even give you a certificate for another one you can share with your friends. So how about it? You ready to take the challenge? Stop by, check out the rules, and dig in. And oh yeah, that's a mouthful.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter.
Hey, Dave.
Like giving Jeff his ladder back before he takes it back. Or where to put the food when you both get the groceries. Or the doggy door that just became a raccoony door. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your 2018 American Standard Building a Higher Standard Award winner. Call Carey today for your free estimate.
Back to Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing here on KQEG TV, folks. I'm Paul Reichert, the better half of Dan Diker and Bill Niles, and of course we're going to be talking to a couple of the drivers from the Street Stock Division, family situation here, and we have Matt. Cameron Riggs. Cameron Riggs is with us, okay. And we have Tristan Drazkowski, Draz Jr., of course, as we know. Guys, good to see you. How are we all doing today?
Ooh, we are doing well. It's a little hot out here, a little sticky, but we're gonna make do today, and we're gonna win some races.
All right. Cameron, how are you, sir?
Fantastic. I'm happy to be here. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing pretty good, guys. So, how long have you guys been racing the street stocks here, Cameron?
This is my 3rd year and my 5th car. So it's been a pretty long couple of years, but I think I got it dialed in now.
And how about you, Tristan?
We're going up on season number 4 here this year. First year was kind of a roller coaster. I kind of was split with Ian Zimmerman, but this will be my 3rd year full racing.
Now this team, Draz Racing, that's I guess it came about from No Limits because you guys are all good friends and. Everybody's been helping each other out. So what made you guys want to start running Draz Racing here?
EZR Racing?
EZR, yes, thank you.
No problem. So, we really came together and realized that, you know, it just would make it a little bit easier to kind of split off for both of us, you know. It got to the point where we had like seven drivers on one team, and it was just getting a little hectic. You know, drama can be drama, and it's no fault to anybody on the team, but it's just, you know, sometimes trying to control 7 drivers can be hard. So we went ahead and split to DZR Racing, and they're over at No Limits, and it just, you know, it works out great. We help each other at the track, and it's been an easy transition for both of us. So.
And Cameron, how have you enjoyed racing here in the street stock division here at La Crosse?
It's been awesome. There's no better feeling than winning a race, and you know, my buddies Tristan and Ian really got me into this, and I'm super thankful for it. It's been a blast.
Now, both of you have also been racing at Tomah Sparta Speedway here. How's the season been going for you, Cameron?
It's been really good. Currently second in points. The car doesn't do as well there as it does here, but it's a ton of fun. It's a great track. I love it.
And Tristan, what about you?
Well, it's been a wild ride so far this year at Tomah. You know, I used it already, but roller coaster season again. Like that, I mean, I couldn't even put it more into better perspective in that regard. Just because I feel like I was either finishing top 2 or I was wrecking my car. You know, so right now I think I slid down to 5th just because I missed a race last night. I was sitting at the top of the points for a while there, had a good run, and you know, we're just going to finish the season strong and see what we can do.
And there's talk that you might be having a new car coming out this season here or later on.
Ooh, it's word getting out. Yeah, we got a car we're building, and hopefully we can have it here next Friday, and we'll have it rocking and rolling. So get some wins out of it.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for the time, and best of luck to you the rest of the season.
Thanks. Okay, nice job, Paul Reichert. That is DZR Racing. The 3rd member of DZR Racing will be, along with Tristan and Cameron, on the WBOG Race Report this Saturday at noon with the 3 of us. And Ian hopes to be back out here soon enough racing, maybe Tristan in a new car. First time I have ever seen Alex Liebsch and Zach Liebsch run with a 3rd Liebsch.
Yes.
It was a historic day there. As mother Wendy, remember when she used to run a Hornet? She ended up on her lid in that silver and red car and turned 4 one year. She had the first chance to come out and run with her 2 sons, which was phenomenal. And Paul Reichert got him.
All right, folks, we've switched teams, and now we're going to be talking to another very familiar name here at La Crosse, the Liebsch family here. We have Alex, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And we have Zach here, and Zach, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And we have a returning person to the racing ranks here at La Crosse, and that, of course, is Wendy Liebsch. Wendy, good to see you back.
Thank you.
All right, so your opinions of the street stock class here, Alex. How have things been going for you over the time you've been racing?
Oh, it's awesome. I've been doing it for 3 years now, and it just gets better every year.
And Zach, how have things been going for you here?
They've been shaping to go different ways. It's been up and down throughout the year.
And Wendy, your first time back, I think in about, 6 years you've been racing? How excited are you to be back here?
I'm excited, a little nervous, but they finally convinced me to go back out so we could do it as a family, and it'll be interesting.
Oh, yes. And Alex, you've done a little racing at Tomah here a couple times. How much of a challenge is racing at Tomah versus being out here at La Crosse?
Tomah's such a challenge. Both corners are different. You got to change everything from the car, basically. I mean, there's not much to change, but you got to change tires, pressures, just the way you drive. It's a challenge. It's so much fun.
And Alex, that new car you have this year, Zach, the new car you have this year, the blue car there, what was the inspiration for the paint scheme for that?
Just decided to change it up. My favorite color is blue, so I decided to go with blue and black this year instead of red and black.
And unfortunately, you had a little hot foot there the last time out with the street stocks.
Yeah, we had a little issue with the gas tank starting to melt, and it went up in flames, but the next day we had her changed and ready to go for this weekend.
And Wendy, how much fun is it to be back out here at La Crosse, just to be in a race car again?
I enjoy it. It's a lot of family time that we get to spend together, and we've been, the boys have been into racing for many years. I think they were just walking when they started working on the cars. So it's fun to have the family and friends.
Yep. And Alex, I think it was for the Smash-O-Rama, you had that huge trailer, the RV, yes. What inspired you to do that, to bring that out?
I work for a towing company, and that just happened to come in one day. and we didn't know what we were going to do with it, and we figured it'd be a good sponsor thing for us, and we're going to hope to have it back out for the trailer race, but we'll see. It started on fire. Broke the key off in it. We got a lot of work to do, but we're hoping to have it back.
Oh, yes. Maybe for the eve of destruction, maybe?
Yeah, that could be too, yeah, we'll have it back out here.
All right. Well, guys, it's great to see you back out here. Wendy, it's great to see you back out racing. Keep up the good work, guys, and thanks for the time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
That was really cool to see Mom and her two sons. She only got to run with them really in a heat race, which she thought was just really cool. But it's too bad because Wendy is a fierce competitor. If you remember back when he used to race Billy Doc Niles and the Hornets would come out, she had that silver car with the red lettering. Too bad she didn't have a quality car here, but hopefully she runs the last of the year.
I don't think that's going to last long.
Yeah, that was just so cool to see. You know, I'm all about family. Anytime we get families racing up there, or Billy's hugging on Sam when he gets a feature wings, it's his nephew. I really harp on family, and that was really cool to do. Talking about family, in segment 3, Billy Doc Niles is going to talk to an uncle and a nephew that were in the vintage race. Who are they? We're going to find out next on KQEG TV.
You don't have to fly to Kansas City to get great barbecue.
Spring has sprung, the grass is riz, and Big Boar Food Truck is back in biz. Yes, the Northside Food Truck at George and Gillette Street is back in business. Stop by for lunch or dinner, enjoy our pulled pork, chopped brisket, fresh cut fries, sweet potato fries, cheese curds, and our own baked beans and coleslaw. Watch for ribs and chicken on select days. Big Boar is back at George and Gillette, and still a delicious mouthful.
Yeah!
Welcome back, race fans. Big Boar Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing. I'm Doc Niles. We're here at Fanful tonight at the Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. Caught up with a couple of drivers who've been running in the Midwest Vintage Series here for the last season or two. That's Ralph Cottone and Greg Cottone. And Ralphie, you're no stranger to lacrosse here. You've won a couple of features here and there, and you've spent some time at this track. It's kind of fun to come back home, isn't it?
It sure is. I started here in 1981, 82. And it's great to be back. And with this vintage series, it's great.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to talk to you about. I mean, you used to be a regular racer. Now you do this kind of like a part-time thing here with the vintage. What's that like for you?
Yeah, it's still hard. Got the family like always. Got a brother that runs the cars and all that, and he owns them. He keeps us running. I got my crew chief yet. They keep the cars running, so it's fun.
All right, Greg, what got you into this Midwest Vintage? Because you didn't really do much racing weekly here.
No, I didn't really do a lot of racing here weekly. Started when I was, 2005, something like that. I started up here, and then Dad and Ralph both got me into vintage, and we got John back there as a crew chief, and he keeps cars running for us and keeps them on the track. And this is actually one of the best ones that I've ever been in. So,
well, talk about being in the Midwest Vintage Series. I mean, it's like most drivers will say, a part-time schedule is not a bad thing for your summer.
No, it's not. It actually frees up a lot of time for the family and just kind of keeps us going. And if we have work to do on it, everybody comes up. We all gain up on the cars, get them done, and take our time and just have fun.
You know, Ralphie, I saw this past week, your crew chief kind of illing a little bit. That's kind of tug at your heart a little bit.
Oh, yeah. It's probably the hardest thing that I'm going through right now. He's back there. He's still with us. In the white T-shirt there.
Yeah, you can see it, John Bright back there. There's Cal Cottone, the car owner for both of these. And John, we're all pulling for you, man. Hope things turn out well. But yeah, it's kind of cool that he still comes to the track and helps out.
He's been with me since I started, and couldn't ask for a better friend.
And Greg, talk about your dad and John back there and how much help they are to you.
Well, I couldn't do it without them. Between them two and Ralph, there's no way I could do it without them. They got me into it. They're the ones that hold me into it. So there's really nothing I can say more about them than how much it means to me to be running with them. So.
All right, that's Greg Cottone and Ralph Cottone, both of them here at the Midwest Vintage Series. What we're going to do right now is we're going to slide across the aisle and talk to a former lacrosse track champion. And we're back across the aisle, and this guy is no stranger to Lacrosse Fairgrounds Speedway. Former late model track champion Todd Korish, and I still say you need to give that championship back. You didn't win a feature that year, so let's talk about that year before we get into what you got going on here, and talk about a magical season. You don't have to win a track championship.
Well, my uncle Harry, that's passed from cancer, always told me coming up through the years that consistency was what we needed to have to be at the end for a championship. And and like I told the guys, if we were a top 3 in the podium every week, we'd be there at the end and then just had to settle it, and that's pretty much what happened that year.
Now you went on and won a few features the next couple of years, and then you kind of faded out of sight for a while. What you been doing with your time?
Well, as you can see, the 99 car back here that I built, Brian Lee and myself, and for Mike Walls, just been spending the time with the vintage cars, and then we actually got our old Chevelle back out and got Dan Linehan in that. So trying to play in the vintage where it's not so stressful and can go when we want to and not have to commit to anything. So
yeah, talk about the old car. I believe that's. Did you win a championship at Sportsman? Did you win it with that car?
Yep, that's my 99 championship car.
So let's talk about the history, because you didn't build that car. That came from somewhere else, I believe.
Mike Hansen originally built that, and I believe he ran 4 years in a row second in the points, and we ended up started talking after the 98 season, and we finally came to a price, and I got the car, and he told me not to touch a darn thing with it. I could put new springs and shocks on it, but I was not allowed to touch the screw jacks. He told me the setup on the tires, and that's the way we ran it all year. And that car, I think we had 16 or 19 fast times that year and only won one feature with it.
Oh, unbelievable. All right, so this thing now, you talked about, the schedule not being so stressful. You're going to do more than just tonight and Oktoberfest. You got more plans for the rest of the year?
Yeah, we're going to take them to Marshfield too, and hopefully next year we're going to try to run more of a full vintage schedule. It's only once, twice a month, and that's something I can handle. I just, with work and everything, I don't have the time, and I'd like to spend that time with my family after all them years. You know how that is.
Oh yeah, that's that. I tell everybody I miss racing. I just don't miss working on them as much. So, Todd, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's going to do it for this week's edition of Big Board Barbecue presents Seven Rivers Racing. For Dan and Paul and everybody else behind the scenes helping us out this week, join us again next week. I'm Doc. We're out.
You've been watching Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV with Dan the Voice Dyker, Billy Doc Niles, and Paul the Statman Riker. Brought to you by Big Boar Barbecue, Highway 16 West Salem, in La Crosse on 3rd Street downtown and George and Gillette Street. Big Boar Barbecue, now that's a mouthful. By Carey Heating and Air Conditioning, your residential specialist, serving the La Crosse area since 1929. Carey Heating and Air Conditioning. Thanks for watching Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.